welcome back to another sewing vlog for Sew Uprising Patterns and SewUprising.com. Today I wanted to share with you a super easy hack for my newly released Brooklyn Brief sewing pattern that switches out one of the front accent pieces for a total lace overlay. It's super fast, super easy, and a great variation on a staple pattern. Let's get started.
So, all we're going to need for this is a piece of galloon lace. So this would be this over here. This is 8-inch wide lace. It does have that scallop on both edge like a galloon should, and then it has a good amount of stretch to it as well. Then we're going to need our pattern pieces. For this hack, all you really need to do is add a 1/4-inch seam allowance onto the inside of either the View B back center piece or the View B front center piece. So you just add that 1/4-inch into the fold line, because instead of cutting on the fold, we're going to be cutting two pieces and sewing together. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and open up my lace. I'm going to lay it right side up on my work surface here. Now I'm going to be doing a front overlay for mine. So I'm going to take my pattern piece and I'm going to put this edge, the X edge, directly next to my scallops, right up here. And you want the pattern piece to hit right in the low spot of the lace there, just like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut that out. And then once I have that cut out, I'm going to take my pattern piece without moving my lace, flip it over, and line it up on this side of the lace, again with that pattern piece hitting the small of the scallop there. Then once that's done, I will come back and show you how to sew them together. Alright, and so now I have my two front pieces cut out. They should be mirror images of each other because I flipped the pattern piece during the cutting process. And when I'm looking at them like this, the right side of both pieces is facing up towards me. So you're going to want to lay your pieces out on your work surface so they are facing at you. Then you're going to grab one piece, flip it over onto the other piece so that the right sides are touching. And you're going to line up that edge there. So you see they should line up pretty well on top of each other. We're going to take some pins and pin down this center seam. My pinning is never too precise because I always end up moving it around when I'm on the machine anyway. But okay, so we have our two pieces pinned together. So if you were to open them up at this point, it should look like this, like the front of your panty piece. And now I'm going to take it to my machine and I'm going to sew a very small zigzag stitch 1/4 of an inch in on this side we pinned here. Then I'm going to open that seam, press it open, and top stitch if I desire. On this particular one I probably won't since I don't have a thread that matches perfectly, but you can top stitch if you wish. I'm going to go sew these together, press them open, and I will be right back. Alright, so I just got back from sewing and pressing my piece, and here's what it looks like now, complete with untrimmed threads because I am exceptionally lazy. But there's what it looks like now. So our next step is going to be taking our main front panty piece. So this would be View A that I cut here, and some nice wrinkly rayon spandex. And then we're going to take our panty piece. We're going to lay it right over the top of View A, matching. If I did it right, we should be able to match the top up here, the bottom seams here, and then matching it along the legs. Depending on how flat your fabric was when you cut it, you may need to do a little finagling, a little trimming, but it should line up pretty perfectly. And then we're going to pin all around those edges. Oops. Pin there. I'm gonna pin up here. And I don't need to worry about the bottom too much yet, but as long as we're pinned and nice and even along the sides, we're pinned at the top, we're good. And then we're going to go back to our machine. We're going to again use a very small zigzag stitch, and we are going to stitch around the scallops here, pretty close to the edge, but not going over onto the fabric. You do want to stay on the lace And ideally you would use a thread that would blend in perfectly with your lace as well. We all know that's not totally possible, but if you can, that's the goal. So I'm just going to go small zigzag up and down all of these curves along both edges. And then I'm going to do a long straight stitch, and I'm going to baste these side seams together and then baste down at the bottom as well. Give it a big press, and then you are ready to just complete your panty as normal. So from there you would go on and do the gusset seams, the side seams, and finish with elastic as instructed in the pattern packet. That's all there is to it. You can see it took about 5 minutes and totally changes up the look of the panty, which is awesome. Happy sewing!